Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pulla and here's what we have in the bulletin. Met Service urges Jamaicans to prepare for early storms. Man fatally shot during liquor store robbery identified. And later in sports, Reggae boys lose to Guatemala in Gold Cup opening match. Now the details. Jamaicans are being urged to prepare early as hurricane season brings first signs of trouble. Head of the weather branch at the Met Service, Ron Brown, says thunderstorms are in the forecast today. Mr. Brown was speaking to TVJ News Tuesday morning. On Monday, strong winds and heavy rain swept across the island, knocking out power to thousands and prompting early warnings from the Met Service. Kingston and St. Andrews, St. Catherine, Clarendon and Manchester were among the parishes most affected. Rowan Brown, head of the weather branch at the Met Service, says thunderstorms are expected to persist into Tuesday.
As it is, you have troughing at the surface and all the way up into the atmosphere. And when you have those conditions, you have general instability and thunderstorms will form. So you'll have those large, dark, thick clouds that grow to great vertical heights and they produce showers, thunderstorms and lightning as well. And that is in the forecast for today. With these systems, there is the possibility that you could have a microburst or a squall line. That is a possibility, but you don't normally see those until the thunderstorms develop.
And with just 17 days into the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, Mr. Brown warns that these early season disturbances are a clear indication of what may lie ahead.
As it is in terms of the forecast, we're expecting anywhere between 13 to 19 named storms. When they occur, we do not always know because you need some systems to be in place for storms to develop. But what I can say is that all it takes is the passage of one system across or near Jamaica to create significant damage to property, to livelihoods, and most importantly, to the loss of lives.
He's reminding Jamaicans not to be caught off guard by waiting until the last minute to make preparations.
Start from early. If you don't have a hurricane kit, get one now. Put food, water, battery. Put something in that hurricane kit. You don't have to pack it up all at once, but put things in there, replace them when they're almost expired, and be prepared for a hurricane season. Because as we saw last year, Beryl could happen early. Beryl happened early in the year, and we could have another early system. So let us all be prepared.
The Jamaica Public Service says approximately 50,000 customers had experienced power outages due to the inclement weather Monday. The company said its emergency operations center has been activated and teams are working to restore electricity. A man was fatally shot at a liquor store on Barnett Street in Montego Bay, St. James Monday. He has been identified as 36-year-old Gary Hamilton. He was working as a security guard. Reports indicate he was attacked by armed men during a robbery shortly after 5 p.m. while on duty. He was shot and killed on the spot. The suspects fled the area on foot. This latest incident brings the parish's murder count to 25. The St. Mary police are investigating a fatal crash along the Trinity Main Road on Monday. According to reports, about 2 a.m., a grey Toyota Axio carrying 4 people, including 3 minors, crashed into an embankment near Wilderness. The driver reportedly fell asleep. The passengers were taken to Port Maria Hospital, where 30-year-old Aldine McClegon died. The others are treated and released. Police are investigating. A senior government minister has issued a scathing indictment of the leadership in St. Andrew East Central, declaring that the constituency is in crisis and is in desperate need of change. O'Shane Masters reports.
Government Minister and senior Jamaica Labour Party member Desmond McKenzie says drastic and urgent change is needed to lift the St. Andrew East Central constituency out of what he describes as decades of stagnation and neglect. Speaking at a JLP meeting in the constituency, Mr. McKenzie blasted the current state of affairs, pointing to failing infrastructure, inadequate education resources, and stalled development, blaming years of poor representation for the decline.
How can you continue to support people who the only thing they think about you is when the time comes for a vote to be cast.
Mr. McKenzie insisted that bold leadership and decisive action are the only way forward and that the JLP is ready to deliver. Meanwhile, Davian Levasseur, the party's candidate for the upcoming election, pledged an end to political victimization following allegations that the Kaja Park division has been sidelined by the current MP.
Because they see doing work in Kaja Park as strengthening Beverly Prince. So instead of looking at serving the constituents of that particular division, they ignore it because they're saying, okay, if they do work in there, it's going to benefit Miss Bev, who's a very good councillor. So in order to get your roads fixed, you have to embrace what it is they say you are. They say you're labor rights, so vote labor rights.
Mr. Vassell, an attorney, vowed to empower residents of Maxfield, accusing the opposition of maintaining control, though fearful. And in a show of support, Delroy Chuck, MP for neighboring St. Andrew Northeastern, says he's backing Vassell's campaign to reclaim the seat held by Dr. Peter Phillips since 1994 and bring it into the JLP's column.
The task ahead is not easy. The votes are out there, and you have to go walk the streets, talk to all the potential voters. Many of them have not voted for many decades because they're labor rights, but them now vote for the PNP. But them feel the PNP, might win, so them don't go out and vote. You know labor rights have to go out there, and you have a lot to talk about. You can tell them what the Labour Party candidates and MPs have done across this country.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The People's National Party youth arm criticized the government's handling of the country at their recently held youth rally in central Westmoreland. The youth arm also refuted claims by the JLP that the party does not have a lot of young people. Carrie-Ann Simpson reports.
Undoubtedly, the youth vote will be critical in the upcoming polls. In Westmoreland, the People's National Party Youth Organization, PNP YO, and Patriots are leading the charge to woo the young voters in the parish. In making a case, PNP YO President Shamil Brown pointed to shortcomings in education.
We grow up and we hear that education is the key to success. But we live in a Jamaica where this wicked JLP government has changed the lock on us. But I am here to tell you that Mark Jefferson Gordon will bring us the change that we need.
On the issue of brain drain, she stressed that if teachers were properly paid, this would no longer be an issue. Meanwhile, PNP candidate for St. James West Central Dr. Andre Houghton spoke on the recent Supreme Court ruling on the removal of billboards in Montego Bay.
Free at last, free at last. By God, we're free at last. And we told the labor rights, we expressed to them that they were ill-informed and they didn't understand the law properly, but they were very arrogant in their style of leadership. And the arrogant leader is like a broken glass trying to pretend to be perfect. But those of us looking on that glass can see that it's shattered and it's not good.
For his part, opposition leader Mark Golding.
We know we're getting into what they call the silly season. You're going to hear a lot of personal attacks. You're going to hear a lot of lies and deception and propaganda. You're going to be facing all kind of tactics. They're going to try buy you out, or they're going to try and intimidate. But we are not for sale, comrades.
Mr. Golding also made a second appeal to the people for the upcoming election.
And of course, here in Westmoreland, where you have been so good to the PNP over the years, and where we're asking you with great humility to be good to us again and to deliver 1, 2, 3.
Carrie-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
There's a call for the government to strengthen security for livestock owners in the western region of the island. The appeal comes in response to a noticeable increase in cases of predial larceny. Farmers are growing increasingly concerned as the theft of their animals continues to threaten their livelihoods. Byron Williams is a cattle farmer from Petersfield, Westmoreland. Mr. Williams is also the vice president for the Next Gen Farmers Group in the parish. He's one of over 20 farmers in the parish currently grappling with a troubling and ongoing issue, livestock theft.
We do dairy goat also, and we have been struggling with predial larceny. Both human being and dog, we've been losing a lot of animal because of that, so it gives you a setback at all time. Every time you raise, right now I have 76 goat, and every time I go above that, either animal or thief come and thief them.
Mr. Williams has spent the past 8 years rearing cattle. In recent months, he says the situation has worsened.
Just last week, they tried to thief my cow and his calf, and also I have lost a sheep and also a young ewe. Last week, just the same. Last year, I lost 20 mother goat by thief and also dog. So we have been struggling that. We believe I've been in Jamaica, but we have been struggling with this as a farmer.
The thieves have left local farmers frustrated, fearful, and increasingly desperate. Mr. Williams is now appealing to the government to intervene before the problem drives more farmers out of business.
I'm asking the government if he can do something for us here, because we are lobbying for a long time about getting some land space that we can raise our animal and we can fence them up, pasture it up, plant our grass and do better for ourselves. At least we can overcome the goat, the dog. But for predial larceny, please let the police that you guys have more active and more mobile in the place.
The demand for Jamaican products is skyrocketing in China. It is why Jamaican ambassador to China, Arthur Williams, says he and his team continue to work with stakeholders to help facilitate the trade of locally made goods. Our reporter Dwayne Anderson is in China and filed this report.
Shouts of "Mayo, Mayo," meaning no more in Chinese, echoed from the Jamaica booth. Eager Chinese nationals demanded to sample the Jamaican patties on offer. But the patties ran out as fast as the team could bake fresh ones. The Blue Mountain coffee and rum were also in high demand. Sunday was Caribbean Day in Beijing, and Jamaica was showcasing some of its best offerings.
People love Jamaican goods in China.
Yes, Jamaican goods are a favorite for Chinese people. Mm-hmm. Yes.
An event like this, Mr. Williams, how does it promote Jamaica to the world?
Well, okay, and as you can see, the audience is Chinese people. And they are here to experience our culture and share in our culture. And so they promote Jamaica throughout Beijing and throughout China.
China is rapidly opening up to the world. Several countries now have visa-free access to the country, and events like these could make cultural assimilation easier for all.
I'm always homesick, but being in an environment with other Caribbeans and having an opportunity to also experience their version of Caribbean culture is always a great experience.
We want to know more about each other, explore more in Jamaica, and we welcome you to come to China too.
Along with Jamaica, 9 other Caribbean islands displayed their food, songs, dance, and costumes to the hundreds of patrons in attendance.
This is our 3rd edition. We're trying to have it annually. We started in 2022, right after COVID, but we were actually preparing way before that. And the first edition was actually held at the Ghana Embassy in Beijing. So it started from what was like a crowd of 500 the first year, and then it increased last year to about 800 persons. This year, the number is a bit more than last year.
Jamaica is about 20 hours by flight from Beijing, China. But regional integration events like these will take you as close as you can to home without actually traveling there. Reporting from Choyang in China, I'm Dwayne Anderson for TVJ News.
Thank you, Dwayne. It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Iron Rock Insurance saw a 26% jump in revenue for the year, reaching $1.75 billion, driven by disciplined growth and stronger market activity. Insurance service results also climbed 26% to $150.6 million, reflecting a solid underwriting strategy despite rising reinsurance and administrative costs. However, higher claims expenses led to a 4% dip in net profit, which closed at $80.7 million. The company's investment portfolio topped $1 billion last year and continued strong performance in 2024, helped by falling interest rates. Now, Iron Rock ended the year with $1.17 billion in cash and investments, a 14% increase, and shareholders' equity rose 8% to $811 million. Now, shareholders also saw greater returns with an increased dividend and a 54% rise in market capitalization. Further afield, President Donald Trump has signed off on a deal easing some trade barriers between the US and the UK. The agreement, first reached last month, will reduce tariffs on UK cars exported to the US. It follows weeks of talks aimed at protecting British businesses from broader US tariffs. However, most UK goods, including cars, will still face a 10% levy, and there's no relief yet on US charges for UK steel imports. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, the St. Lucia government says it has successfully signed collective bargaining agreements with 7 of the 9 public sector unions and staff associations that will result in public sector workers receiving salary increases of 2% annually within the 2022-2025 period. The agreements will also cover the 2025-2028 period, with the exception of a 3% increase in the final year of the latter triennium. On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump says he left the G7 summit early to confer with national security staff about Iran and its growing conflict with Israel. It's in a region that contains a crucial oil route and U.S. military bases. The Situation Room meeting follows Trump's call yesterday for an evacuation of Tehran. Reports indicate that there were Israeli attacks there overnight. The defense secretary says he has sent additional U.S. military capabilities to the Middle East. Trump says he wants a ceasefire agreement that includes a nuclear deal. The White House says the U.S. would defend its regional interests if necessary. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
Thank you, Carrie. And it's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return.